Hi, everybody. It's Greg Greckmeyer again. Here with some tech news. I have been welcomed to the Starlink family. I've received my Starlink dish this about a week and a half ago, and I'm currently in the mode of doing some testing. So I'm rather excited to get the Starlink dish. I think originally I signed up. It's been years. I tried to get on the beta and whatnot, and I got an email last fall about doing a deposit for an order, and it finally came in. So I'm rather excited. The first thing you might ask me is, what is Starlink? So Starlink is the new satellite system for internet services. Real simple is that you have a dish which transmits and receives between the ground and a satellite, and then there's a receiving station. I believe the closest one to us is probably the Ashburn. Maybe the one that's down near Raleigh, Durham might be used also, but the idea being is that your internet basically travels, up to a satellite and back down to you at a dish. The the unit overall, so I can explain to you the unit's pretty simple. It does mount to like a roof. We're gonna get this. I've currently got mine. I've been using it out in the front yard, but usually mounted on a roof. The unit came. An initial kit was a 75-foot piece of cable, and then mine. I'll just show this to you so you can see it. It's currently sitting on my patio. It's not currently out in the yard. I was actually rather excited today. I got the chance to go use it to do the Zoom for Rotary at Pilot House. So I had it parked the truck out along the side of the building at Pilot House, and I put the dish on my roof of my truck and then plugged the modem into my truck in a little battery unit in my truck. So it's really this simple. It's a dish and a modem router type device. And it does have connectors on the bottom so that you can unplug the 6-foot cord to power the unit, and also the cord, that 75-foot cord that goes to the dish itself. And so the unit could come indoors. You could fish that cable through a wall or something like that and bring it indoors. But it is waterproof. Actually, I have a photo of the end of it. It even has a little rubber membrane where you can, it seals it. Now, the connectors do look to be proprietary, and they do sell other cord lengths, I think like 150, I'm not sure if it's a replacement or if it's an extension, but they have other cords. So far, I'm just testing it literally in my front yard. But the setup overall wasn't too bad. Like you see, physical parts, there's just two parts and a plug. The modem router unit actually has a little Wi-Fi router in it. So when I did the setup, they basically have you do it on your phone. So you power up the phone, you connect the phone to the device, and it walks you through it. And there's even a little bit about the actual setup of the dish itself. Now, what it had is an app that brought up the camera, and where you place the dish, it asked you to scan the skyline and determine what's going to be in your way. Now, I'll show you my little results of how it was operating, is that I actually had an obstruction. There's a very large crepe myrtle right in front of where I put this, and a evergreen bush right next to it. So the red marks you see on this little diagram are the space that didn't work because it's I couldn't get it far enough out. But it did find its own way as to where it should point. Oh, by the way, it is motorized, so it actually can spin and tilt, so it can figure out where it should go. Now, initially, it did say it takes up to about 12 hours for it to acquire the best signal position. So it'll move and do it itself. It doesn't have to use you to place it. So we do thinking about that if you go to mount it somewhere, is that it needs positioning. Interestingly, it's not supposed to be mobile. You're supposed to put it in a fixed location, but it did have a stow mode, which I used today. So it actually puts the dish flat, so that you can transport it, and then once you power back up, it goes back to where it was. Initially, I do have some numbers that I shared with the Broadband Authority, and I was very excited to see good speeds out of it. 127 megabits down, 12 up. The latency at 111 megabits per second is kind of where I've been. I've been a little bit lower than that, honestly, most of the time. And then the application from Starlink does do a pretty nifty thing. It measures not only the device, which in this case was the iPhone to the internet, but it also measures the modem itself, the little white box, to the internet, so that you can compare the two. And then it also does a last test between you and the modem. So you can determine if where you've placed the little white box, if you're having signal loss between the box and you, maybe your laptop. In my case, I was using an iPad for a lot of this. Or, they're able to show you what the kind of the best speed you can get is from the modem itself going out. So I thought that was kind of nice how they set that up, where you get 3 different speed calculations. I also did an independent speedtest.net, similar speeds as what was showing in the app. So they're not bolstering it in any way. So that was kind of nice. Now they also, I think, are anticipating some support calls, because in the app they also provided some statistical information about your signal overall. So about the latency, in this case the usage. This was just before our meeting, so I was actually playing a YouTube video so that I could, and I was doing something else on the laptop, but playing the YouTube video allowed me to get some traffic, so it would register on the meters here. And the outages, one of them happened while I was watching YouTube, and I didn't have a drop in YouTube. YouTube does do a little bit of, they call it caching, so it does try to get ahead of you a little bit. So it had done a sufficient job to get ahead of me, so that when I did have a moment of outage, it was okay. And then I have had a little bit longer outage out front when my son parked next to the dish. So that was quite funny because I didn't understand why. So I had to go figure out what was going on. And then I realized he parked in front of the dish. So yeah, big truck. That's not going to help. And then the last thing is there is a detailed outage page that'll actually give you timings. I do believe if I spent some time looking at this, I could probably start to determine where the satellite sort of follows the sky and the horizon, and why I'm having maybe some outages when it's going through the tree, but then maybe when it gets across the sky, it's fine. And then when the next satellite comes over, they don't go in a line. They are going in different directions. So you might see certain outages on certain times of the day or week or something like that when you're getting some repeats. I don't know the pattern of the satellites, but I do know it's not, they're not running in a specific line. My dish did orient a little bit more north, and I believe it's more because of the obstructions. And so kind of the long and short of it, the hardware is not complicated. Maybe the installation on a roof, they do sell brackets and things, could be a little bit more involved. You do need a good, clear line of sight. I took the dish today because I had it with me at Rotary. I went up to Cook's Corner, right there in the front by the skate park area, and I put it on top of my truck just to get a nice big open place to try it. And I got great speeds doing that, because I really didn't have any trees anywhere around me, any buildings or anything else. And so good, clear field of some sort, or getting it up pretty high would help a lot. Okay. Plans and costs. Now, I'm not a representative of Starlink, and this is all about opinion, but these are the advertised costs for the service. So I was invited to the regular service before premium even was available, and it was the $500 in equipment, and it's $99 a month. Now, those of you that have cellular plans, there is no cap right now. That might change in the future when more people join the service, but at the moment they do not have a cap. The download speeds, 50 to 150. I've been seeing, like I saw, 100 to 120 has been pretty consistent. The upload, though, the 10 to 20, I've been seeing closer to the 10s, maybe 10, 12, something like that. And then latency, I even play a little bit of PUBG from time to time. So I brought out my account, brought it up on my iPad, and I played for about an hour, and the signal was decent. I could still play an online game through the satellite, and I was very impressed with that. nothing you can do when you're playing like on HughesNet or something like that on a like a first person kind of game. The premium service has also come out more business oriented, and I believe the expense is where what's going to drive that. For double the bandwidth, you're paying quite a bit more per month, and even the equipment's more expensive. It's a bigger dish. I've only seen pictures of it, but it's a similar design. So with that, I just want to thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to me. If you have any questions, I may process another video here once I have a chance to test it. I am trying to see, Steve volunteered up county to try it out for well, maybe like a week or something and see how it goes. But if not, feel free to drop me an email. You can go to my website, seekthegeek.com. It's just a blanket site. But it has my contact information, email, things like that. And I'll be happy to answer questions, maybe even try some pieces of software that folks may use that I could try for them. I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's it. Enjoy.